Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us. I hope you and all of your friends are well. Just want to say, kind of the next half hour, we're going to discuss with you how to accelerate your paid and organic Instagram activity during COVID-19. But first, I just want to quickly go over a few housekeeping rules. We are recording this webinar, so the link to this on-demand version will be shared with you in tomorrow's follow-up email. Everyone is going to be muted throughout the duration of the webinar. However, the chat is enabled, so if you have any questions, feel free to just put them below and we'll be able to get back to you. Throughout the webinar, we're going to be running a number of polls. You'll have about 15 to 20 seconds to submit your answer, and then I'll share the results live with you. To show you what these look like and test they're working, I've just started one, so if you can see the poll window, please can you press yes? Perfect, 100%, so that's great. And finally, I just want to kind of remind you to follow us on social media, which is Immediate Media Co, and do get in touch with us if you have any questions on email at im360@immediate.co.uk. It's probably time to introduce myself and the team that's kind of co-hosting the webinar today. My name is Callum Hall, and my role at Immediate Media is the Page Social Manager. I'm joined today by Becky, Dom, Kayla and Laura. We shall be monitoring the chat, setting up polls, and will be on hand afterwards to answer any questions you might have. As we have a large number of people on this webinar, I just want to give you all a quick reminder of who Immediate Media is. So we are the special interest content and platform company. We have over 70 brands, including BBC Good Food, Radio Times, Made for Mums, Gardener's World, Bike Radar, Gathered, kind of the list goes on. We engage over 38 million unique users each month across our websites, and we reach over 250 million people a month on social media. And we have 35 million organic social followers across a variety of platforms. We are big. Okay, so that was the introduction to the who, what and why. For the rest of the session, we are going to cover an overview of the current Instagram landscape, what is working for organic campaigns, a Q&A with Good Food to find out how they've shifted their Instagram strategy to reflect the current situation, and finally, what's working for paid campaigns. Right, so time to begin. I'm going to hand over to Dom and Kayla, who are going to run you through the changes in user behaviour and engagement that Instagram has seen, as well as the specific changes we have seen across our brands and platforms.
Thanks, Callum. My name's Dom, and I'm a digital marketing executive here at Immediate Media and run lots of Instagram campaigns on a daily basis.
And I'm Kayla, like Dom. I'm also a digital marketing executive and run a large amount of Instagram campaigns for the Immediate Media brands. For the next few slides, I'm going to be taking you through some of the key paid and organic data from the past month. So since the beginning of isolation, there have been some really interesting trends emerging on Instagram across the industry. A recent study from February to March found a 22% increase in Instagram impressions, which demonstrates that users are flocking to the app to consume content. The use of stories is up by 15%, and other live features on the app, such as IGTV, have also seen an increase in usage, indicating that users are looking to be entertained, but also how they want to see others coping during this time. With the increase in platform usage, Instagram are also seeing an increase in engagement with sponsored content, with nearly 80% of influencers reporting a higher engagement rate since COVID-19. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo received a 3.52% engagement on one of his posts compared to his average engagement rate of 3.12%. There's also been a 76% increase in likes on hashtag ad posts since the start of the outbreak, demonstrating that people are willing to engage with advertising content now more than ever before. As a direct response to COVID-19, Instagram has introduced some new features to help ensure people stay connected. Firstly, the app launched their new Stay Home sticker, which was created to encourage people to practice social distancing. In addition to this, Instagram have launched their new co-watching feature, which allows friends on a video chat or group video to browse through feed posts together. Instagram Live can now be viewed on a desktop for a more immersive experience, as the comments section no longer blocks out the screen. And specific features have been launched for businesses too. For example, the ability to share new gift cards, food orders, and fundraiser stickers in stories on their profiles.
So let's take a look at what is working for organic campaigns. Overall, the platform has seen high levels of engagement with their interactive formats, including Q&As, polls, and live video. There are many benefits of using these formats, as they help to generate valuable insights into exactly what content your audience wants to consume and keeps them engaged at the same time. Here you can see two brands using these features effectively. Pampers used Instagram's Q&A feature to engage with their audience and then use the responses to create content for the subsequent stories. And the Instagram account, How It's Made, ran a poll to ask viewers whether they wanted to see more behind the scenes content and shifted their content strategy as a result of the feedback.
Instagram's live video feature allows users to stream video to followers and engage with them in real time. Going live is an easy, cost-effective way of creating video content that is honest and relatable. A large number of brands and individuals have been utilizing this feature during isolation in order to engage with their viewers and offer entertainment. For example, Miley Cyrus runs a daily show from Monday to Friday called Bright Minded, often featuring other celebrity guests and talking about pop culture, mental health, and other topics. Internally, we've used Q&A formats to help shape live videos, ensuring that content is in line with what our audiences are wanting to consume. So you're probably wondering what kind of content you should be posting during this time. People are looking for relatable, helpful, and inspiring content from their favorite brands. So consider changing your messaging to serve people rather than hard selling in this current climate. A great example of this is clothing brand Pretty Little Thing. They have been holding various live sessions varying from workouts to discussion sessions and even DJ sets. They have also been posting their hashtag Stay Home with PLT schedule across Instagram ahead of time. Previously, we mentioned the launch of the Stay Home sticker, which was designed to encourage social distancing. This adds the stories from any public accounts you follow into a shared Instagram story. This is a great tool that makes your brand relatable by showing how your brand is dealing with the current situation and offering people a distraction with some lighthearted content. Another great way to keep on top of trends is to start hashtags or join them to increase the reach of your content. Here you can see a few examples of hashtags from our brands. BBC Good Food Live Cooking's hashtag Stay Home Get Cooking has over 3,000 posts, most of which are user-generated content. Gardener's World hashtag GW Sew Along has over 100 posts and is a great example of helpful content as it offers viewers ideas of what they can do at home in the garden.
Cool, thanks for that, Dom and Kayla. Some really good and insightful kind of ideas there for organic. We're now going to be joined by Laura Jenkins from BBC Good Food. She's going to talk about how she shifted their Instagram strategy to reflect the current situation. Thanks for joining us, Laura.
Hi.
I think it'd be good to start kind of hear from you about how you've approached this new challenge and what results you've kind of seen from it. So my first question would be, what have you been doing on Good Food's Instagram since the COVID-19 crisis began?
So I think the first thing that we really did, we had brainstorms and we had a million ideas flying around, but what we actually did was just have a listen to what people actually wanted from us on the platform. We kind of assumed that they would want us to be posting lots of store cupboard recipes and all that kind of thing, but they were actually saying that they just couldn't get hold of any ingredients and they were really stuck and they just wanted to ask us loads of questions. So the first thing that we did was launch our daily Q&A, which goes on Instagram Live, and it's every weekday lunchtime at the same time. So it's two members of the team. They all have different specialities, so we have different themes every day depending on who's presenting. And it's basically a free-for-all for people to just ask all of their questions about what they have in the cupboard, what leftovers they've got, and what they can make. We've been doing those every day for 3 weeks now, and the numbers are really steady. So I think it's something that people really want, they're responding really well to, and we've actually rolled it out across Facebook and YouTube today as well, which is very exciting. I think the second thing that we did was we started using polls. So we wanted to ask people what they wanted to see from us. So the little mock-up that you can see on the left, we're asking people which videos they want to watch, which techniques they want to see, which links they want us to share. And there's some really good engagement on those. We have upped our frequency, so we've doubled the number of posts that we publish every day to introduce some more user-generated content. And also, because we don't do things by halves at Good Food, we've also launched 6 new video series at the same time. So there's a new video 6 days of the week, and that's all shot by our team at home, showing different cooking techniques. There's some kids stuff in there, there's cooking for one. It's kind of all of the needs that our audience told us they had, we're trying to answer with new content. So quite a lot, really.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot. You've been very busy, I can see. So on that, what's kind of been your, I guess, biggest success so far?
So content wise, we sort of saw that frothy coffee trend land on Instagram. And normally our lead time on creating new content would be a bit longer, but we thought this is such a big trend and everyone's at home to make it, we need to get on it. So we turned around a recipe that was tested and published within a day, and published that first on Instagram. And that actually drove more clicks via our little click aggregator that we use in our bio than any post has ever driven on Instagram for us before. So that was really encouraging, that if you sort of jump on the trends and get there first, you can get some really big numbers off the back of it. And then I think the other thing that we've been really successful with is just sharing user-generated content. So we have a WhatsApp group with our cookery team where they send us pictures of everything they're making at home, and we publish one of those every morning. And then we also are sort of trawling our new hashtags, looking at what our audience are making, and anything that's a Good Food recipe we'll repost. So there's a slot for that every evening. And that's now some of our best performing content with the most engagement. So I think people really just want to see authentic content, things that people are making at home and things that are actually achievable. And they're responding really well to that. So those are probably the biggest successes.
Amazing. I think you touched on it a bit there, but have you kind of got like, I don't know, any surprising results, trends, or kind of changes you've seen from your audience?
I think the thing that surprised us the most is just how much people are experimenting at the moment. We kind of expected that everyone would just be cooking with store cupboard ingredients and they'd be trying to, you know, make the best of what they had and doing lots of kind of the more boring end of the cooking scale and just batch cooking and making chilies and that kind of thing. But everybody is actually being really adventurous. They're trying things that they never would have attempted if they didn't have infinite free time on their hands. So everybody's making sourdough now, which is amazing. We're seeing lots of kind of big bakes and cakes and people experimenting with different ingredients they've never used before. And they're all sharing it on Instagram, even people that have never used it before. So the amount of UGC we're seeing has gone through the roof. And it's funny, there are lots of trends. So there's one of our recipes for a crackly chocolate biscuit that literally everyone is making. We keep seeing that everywhere. And the sourdough and the frothy coffee and various other bits and pieces. So yeah, we're just trying to make the most of what everyone's sharing and resurface it to encourage them to keep going. But yeah, we really didn't expect to see that.
I mean, yes, it seems like you've had a massive response, and I think, yeah, as people are at home, they're kind of a lot more time on their hands and they want to try new things, and it feels like, yeah, you've just really, your content's been working really well. And kind of finally, what would you kind of recommend to other brands who are struggling to adapt to the current situation on Instagram?
I think the first thing I would say is just listen to what they're telling you. So, you know, we had our own expectation coming into this of what people would want from us, and we've produced lots of that content, but we've also been able to give them some really exciting and more adventurous stuff that we didn't really expect they would respond to. So, you know, get into the comments, start really interacting with people, open yourself up as much as you can to finding out what people want from you. And then as much as you can with the teams that you've got available, turn around everything you can and give them what they're asking for. I would say experiment with different formats. So even if you've not really used stories before, using all of those stickers, question stickers and sliders and polls, and, you know, make people feel like you're involved with them and you want to hear what they're doing and what they think. I would say don't be afraid to create content at home. I was initially a little bit hesitant for us to start shooting and firing out various versions of things that looked very homemade, because we used to sort of have quite a high production value on everything, but actually people really like that it's authentic and that it's achievable and they can do it from home. So whatever resource you have, just have a go and see how it goes. And then just because we're seeing so much success with it, I would definitely say repost any and all user generated content you've got. Obviously, we've all got very different brands and different subject matters, so not everybody is going to have people splashing things across Instagram, but it's great just to show people that you are there and you are listening, and it makes people feel very special when they get featured. So it's nice for your sort of brand sentiment going forwards.
Definitely. We have actually had a question in the chat. It's for you, Laura. So they've kind of asked, is there any type of food content you avoid because of oversaturation? So for example, banana bread?
I think we're trying to keep it interesting and keep it fresh, but actually we're finding with things like banana bread that the more we post it, the more engagement it gets. So what we're trying to do is post kind of twists on things. I think our other social channels, we're really covering the basics. So on Facebook, we're posting collections of all the really boring store cupboardy stuff, whereas on Instagram, we're trying to show how to take it up a notch or do something different with it or experiment with it. And when we get bored of posting our own content, that's when we publish all of our users' banana bread snaps, and then that kind of freshens it up a bit and makes it a bit different.
Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing all of that, Laura. It's kind of fascinating, really. And I hope everyone listening can kind of, take some things away from that. Excuse the pun, but hopefully this will give you all some food for thought on ways to shift your own strategies and kind of engage customers during this period. Next up, we should be moving on to the paid side of things and looking at what's changed there. So I guess despite advertisers being a little bit nervous to run paid campaigns, the stats have shown that engagement with Instagram ads posts have actually increased. So Instagram themselves have reported a 76% increase in likes on hashtag ad posts. Here at IM, we've seen our immediate rates for our paid Instagram campaigns decrease and our click-through rates increase significantly.
Thanks, Callum. So as mentioned, paid advertising on Instagram is working extremely well, and we have seen some real changes over the last month. We'd like to run a quick poll to see how many of you are currently running paid ads on Instagram. A few more seconds. Some interesting stats there. So we're now going to talk through a couple of case studies of paid campaigns across Instagram and how they've been successful during this period.
Earlier we talked about the importance of using interactive formats to help drive audience engagement, and now I'd like to talk through a campaign we recently ran with Win-A-Lot and the success we've had using the poll format. So Win-A-Lot partnered with a number of immediate titles, including Radio Times and Countryfile, to create an online content hub where dog owners could share their favourite dog stories for a chance to win a dog-friendly getaway. We ran a number of Instagram poll ads to drive content to the hub. Audiences could select one of two answers, following which they'd be taken to the relevant landing page. The campaign was really successful and we over-delivered on the page view KPI by 129%. The polls received over 5,000 responses and generated 402 competition entries. So why was this so successful? We channeled the lightheartedness of the campaign within the polls and made sure that the copy and creative were fun and really engaging. And we also split tested audiences and creatives to make sure that everything was optimized for maximum performance. I'll now hand over to Becky, who will talk through a recent campaign we ran with Mars.
Hi, so I'm Becky. I'm business manager for social native and video here at Immediate. As Dom just mentioned, I'm going to talk through a campaign that's recently finished that we ran with Mars. So last year, Mars partnered with our food titles, Olive, Delicious and BBC Good Food, to promote a range of their confectionery products during the Easter period. The campaign was hugely successful and it actually led to Mars rebooking the campaign with us this year, which was absolutely fantastic. And this year we partnered specifically with BBC Good Food. So for the campaign, we created 2 native recipes, both on Good Food's website and also in a video format. And we repurposed 2 native recipes from the previous year's activity as well. So all 4 recipes were promoted socially for the 4 weeks leading up to the Easter weekend. And we worked to a goal of reaching 50 million people across the UK, and also driving 50,000 page views to the 4 recipes. In addition to this, we also ran a competition, and that was to encourage users to upload images of their bakes on Instagram using a bespoke hashtag Spring Bake Showdown. And we were giving away, I think it was 4 chances to win a luxury food hamper, including a food mixer. So the benefits of a competition of this nature is that not only does it encourage people to actually purchase the products and then do the bakes, but it also creates an abundance of UGC content for the client, and then they can then reuse that. So it's obviously free content creation. So a really good use of competitions there. So the campaign this year again was hugely successful, and we managed to over deliver on the reach. We delivered 50.6 million, and we massively over delivered on the recipe page views. So we delivered over 142,000, and the competition generated over 500 bakes, which was great. Despite the campaign launching just after the isolation rules came into play in the UK, this actually had no negative impact on the results or the campaign at all. In fact, we actually saw a significant uplift in the performance versus the 2019 activity. So I've pulled out some key highlights year on year from Instagram. So this year we actually saw over 1,000% increase in the click-through rate versus last year's campaign. 166% increase in Instagram engagement rate versus last year, and a 9.15% increase in the number of people viewing at least half of the video. So that's really interesting. The content was kind of similar in how it looked and felt, but yeah, the engagement rates have gone through the roof. So why did this campaign work so well? So kind of on a general level, which is something we try to do for all of our paid social campaigns, is we've made sure the assets were platform centric. So the images and videos that we used on Instagram were square. For the videos, we made sure to have text overlays so that people with sound off would be able to follow the recipe, and everything's very colourful and visually appealing, which is exactly what Instagram kind of is all about. Secondly, we made sure to tailor the campaign to reflect the current circumstances. Last year's campaign obviously was not in the middle of a pandemic, and copy was kind of focusing on having recipe ideas for hosting and having your friends around and kind of sharing food. So this year it was obviously very different, and we changed the copy to offer people ideas for keeping occupied, so fun things you can do with the kids and make at home, and also kind of pushing the fact that these were all kind of store cupboard staple led recipes, and that kind of helped with driving a significant level of engagement. We also split tested, I think we ran about 90 ads over the course of the 4-week period. So we split tested different audiences and different creative and different copy. And I think one thing that's kind of been a common theme throughout this period is that now's the time to test. So don't be afraid to test. If something doesn't work, then turn it off. Yeah, so we found the kind of sweet spot about a week or so into the campaign and then optimized there. And then finally, again, a common theme during this period is that audiences are really looking to trusted brands to offer help and advice. BBC Good Food is no exception. We're the UK's #1 food media brand, and as Laura kind of referenced earlier, audiences have been flocking to the site for recipe tips and inspiration. So it was kind of perfect timing really for Mars to align themselves with us during this period, and the results kind of speak for themselves.
So what are the key takeaways? Firstly, varying platform verticals are designed to be consumed differently, therefore require different creative. Take your content and design it for each so that it truly fits each placement appropriately. Make sure you utilize Instagram's features. Take advantage of polls and questionnaires by asking your audience what they want to see from you. Add music, use the React meter, all getting your audience engaged with your brand. Right now, people may be home nearly 24/7, but that doesn't mean that they want more content. It's the classic rule of quality over quantity. Focus on adding value to your audience instead of fighting to always be present. And finally, get creative. Instagram is first and foremost a visual platform. You have to be able to capture your audience's eye with aesthetically appealing content.
Fantastic. Well, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Dom, Kayla, Becky and Laura for running through all of that. I think you can all agree that it was, well, it's perfect. Lots of takeaways for you there. There are some really fantastic things, I guess, you can, I don't know, take and use on your own brands. We appreciate that that is a huge amount of information and lots to take in. So we'll be following up tomorrow with the on-demand version of the webinar, the deck, and also the results of the polls. But before we finish, I just want to quickly highlight how we can help you during this time. We understand that times are tough and making decisions about all types of marketing is tricky, especially at a time when we have little to no data to validate our decisions. That is why we would like to encourage you to get in contact with us and speak to us so that we can use our knowledge and insight to help you thrive during this time. The best email address to find us on is iron360@media.co.uk, and myself or one of my team will get back in touch with you as soon as possible. Secondly, after taking you through the insights and growth we're seeing across our social media accounts, it is clear that right now we have an extremely engaged audience. Couple that with our editorial expertise and we are a powerhouse of branded content. So please do reach out to one of our sales team if you're interested in working with us, or alternatively get in contact with one of us and we'll put you in touch with the right team. But just before we go, I want to run one final poll to see what you thought of today's session. And be honest, please, as it helps. Perfect. So that's it from us. We want to say a massive thank you for joining us today, and we hope you found it useful. We also just wanted to let you know about next week's webinar, which shall be focusing on third-party identity crisis and why publishers' first-party data is more valuable than ever before. We should be including a link to sign up to that in the email tomorrow, along with a follow-up to today's webinar. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, and we hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you very much.